So let's get into this whole thing about Brics real quick. You know, this is always something that gets brought up, especially from like, Rich Common Sense Crypto. Other content creators talk about it. Shout out to Coach JV, right? 3T Warriors Academy. He talks about it a lot. So thank you for the tag, Mike. Look what is mentioned here. It says, shout out to Uncle Rusty, breaking Mexico, man, has officially applied to join the BRICS Economic Alliance. Wow. Now, why would that be? That's the key thing. You have already, you got Brazil, you got India, you got China. I mean, if you want to do alphabetically speaking, B, Brazil, R, Russia, I, India, C, China, and I believe S is South Africa. I'm pretty sure. So, I guess with M, I mean, what would it be called? Brixum? Brixims? I don't know. Bad joke. But yeah, that is big, and some people, of course, feel as though, well, this, whether you're against the BRICS nations and whatnot, this could be big for Mexico. Okay. Also understand that, the Mexican government, there's a lot of corruption there, right? So who's really benefiting from this? I don't know. I don't want to get too controversial over it, but I do think about some of these things, right? And I did also hear some recent reports here, especially in the local news, that there was a few Americans that were kidnapped and they're still being held down there by the cartels. Horrible stuff. All right, let's get more into our particular outline. We also have some more sideline reporting from the one and only Mike Cornwell in regards to ISO 222. He says, "Eye on the prize." Let's blow this up. So this comes from Nicola Bellata and Fabrizio Botti. I guess they're Italian. I don't know. But look what is mentioned here. It says the decision by the United States and the European Union to disconnect selected Russian banks from the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications, SWIFT. Remember when that happened? Basically, a little over a year ago, right? In response to them invading Ukraine. Well, it says that while transformations within this system have historically been slow to materialize, the range and scope of the recently deployed sanctions will most likely catalyze a global push to diversify away from the U.S. dollar-centric global financial system. Yeah, absolutely. If you look more into it, the BRICS system is a direct threat or response, I should say, in light of this whole concept of thinking that, hey, crazy neighbor, that we can just slap, Russia and that they're going to go away because they're not on SWIFT. No, they found another mechanism, if you will, and they've been profiting from that, which sucks, but that's a reality. As a result, other countries got involved. I'm not going to read all of this, but look at what's also highlighted, and I guess I'll start off with a particular sentence. It says inertia and friction are key forces that tend to consolidate the hegemony of the, I probably pronounced that wrong, sorry, of the US dollar, but in this context of growing politicization, probably not pronouncing that right either, sorry, of money, the process of financial digitalization could be a crucial force for change in pushing diversification and empowering the creation of new alternatives. Very true. The current rapidly growing interest, albeit in small-scale implementation of central bank digital currencies, aka CBDCs, around the world could foster transformation in the long run. When we get more into this, it says that this is a solution. I'm going to go ahead and actually blow this up a little bit. It's kind of too small. There we go. That's a lot bigger. So I guess somebody took a screenshot with their phone. But anyway, it's okay. So when we get more into this, yeah, here's the solution. It says the proposed Psychro solution can connect any compatibility DLT with the existing RTGS technologies and processes of the European payment infrastructure. This solution basically utilizes the upcoming Target 2 RTGS upgrade by leveraging, listen to this, ISO 222 and SWIFT public key infrastructure to deliver a verifiable proof of payment as the trigger for settling digital assets on distributed ledger technology. Our solution is non-invasive in the sense that it does not introduce any changes or technical links in the SWIFT or Target 2 infrastructures. Moreover, thanks to the broad adoption of ISO 222 and even SWIFT, it is compatible with the worldwide financial market infrastructure. All right, so cool stuff. Thanks for that from Mr. Mike Cornwell. So this is the data that was taken from Global Pro Services. They are a Safeguard global company, and it is top 15 countries by GDP according to the 2022 report. I'll just read a little brief bit here. if you're the type of person that studies business, even if you're not, right? I'm not trying to brag about having an MBA or anything like this, but one of the main things that we were taught, especially taking business classes, is like you have to understand, gross domestic product, right? GDP. So look at some of these particular stats, right? Based on the most recent data from the World Bank. The United States still ranks number one at 20.89 trillion. Now, where the debate comes from the Brics nations are a direct threat to the United States being number one on GDP. That is true. And let's start adding it up. So when you look at the data and you understand, all right, well, where's Brazil on this? All right, there they are towards the bottom. So let's start off with the top ones. China is a Brics country at 14.72 trillion. Now, that, of course, it seems like U.S. leaves in the dust, but when you start adding up the Brics nations by GDP, it becomes a direct threat. And again, that is, understanding that when these guys team together, this is what we're talking about. This creates a whole thing of, hey, you know what? We're not on, we're not in the Swiss system. You guys cut us off. We will unite as, I guess you could say, as one, the Brics countries. Here's a direct reply or result of that. So again, China, 14.72 trillion. Let's go to the next nation, India. And actually, I'll just bust out the calculator for this because you know what? You may think, well, what does it have to do with crypto? We'll get into that because, it's important to understand some of these particular things. So 14.72 trillion for China, plus India is at 2.66 plus, and then let's get down to Russia, 1.48. Some people are like, oh, Russia's the top one. No, maybe from a military point of view, but definitely from not a GDP point of view. So right there, we're already up to 18.86 trillion. All right, let's now add up Brazil plus 1.44 plus, and then I didn't see, for instance, this is based on the top 15. So like South Africa, which is part of the Brics countries, right? Or Brics nations. It's not on this list. I don't even know if they make a full trillion. So, all right. So right there, not even counting South Africa, right? We're already up to 20.3 trillion, right? In gross domestic product, right? GDP. That right there means what? That the United States, technically speaking, would fall to number 2. Now, some people say, well, that's not fair, Max. You can't really do that. Why not? Here's why we should do this. Because if you don't look at it from this particular perspective, what has been the leading country in GDP for many, many years and who has literally set the reserve currency of the world, as we know, was and still is until it collapses, is the US dollar, right? The prices of oil per barrel still based off the US dollar, right? And this is where people say, well, the petrodollar is, what's going on, was it down in South America as we speak, right? Like they're not using US dollars anymore. And that of course is part of the whole threat. And I'm not going to do a deep dive in regards to this. We can do it on a different day. But I want people to understand when you see what is mentioned in regards to the BRICS countries and you're not quite there yet, hopefully this gives you perspective, boom, right off the bat of understanding like, holy crap, he just put into perspective that I can understand now. This is a direct threat to our sovereignty, our way of life, because now them being unified makes them a big player in regards to all this. How do we respond to this with, going forward with the new monetary policy, or, the new money, if you will, right? With distributed ledger technologies and so on. So anyway, we could take more of a deeper dive into this some other time. I just want to give you guys that particular perspective. Yeah, 20.3 trillion. I mean, that leaves, the United States. I shouldn't say that leaves the United States at number 2. Technically, we still be number 1. So but this puts them right there. And then, you get basically, excuse me, let me restate this. So with South Africa, you can add a little bit there. I don't think that tilts it in the favor of the BRICS countries, but maybe with Mexico, you know what I mean? And if they get more and more countries to come into the BRICS nations, that in itself could put them over the edge. So, I mean, it's something that we all have to pay attention to. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you have not yet subscribed, do yourself a favor and subscribe for more information on the ISO 222 compliant tokens, and hit the notification bell to make sure that you are aware of the new videos when they come up. Max and I cover these ISOs, and we also have a live show every single night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you tune in for that. You won't want to miss it. Thanks again, and we will see you on the next video.